Hello everyone, my name is Brian Knack, and I'm here to talk about my new book, Made for War, 52 Weeks of Wisdom and Revelation. It's a devotional Bible study that's just meant to bring the reader closer to God and to learn more about who Jesus is and who they are. And it's available now at Amazon.com, or you can go to my website, www.brianknack.com, and pick it up. Alright, I'd like to read one of the devotionals today from that book called Courage and Fear. Deuteronomy 31:6-7 says, "Be strong and of a good courage, fear not, nor be afraid of them, for the Lord your God, it is He that goes with you. He will not fail you, nor forsake you." Verse 7, "And Moses called unto Joshua, and said unto him in the sight of all Israel, Be strong and of good courage, for you must go with this people unto the land which the Lord has sworn unto their fathers to give them, and you shall cause them to inherit it." Now we see throughout the Bible these words are repeated to God's people time and time again. Actually, I think it's about 365 times God says, "Do not fear." It's pretty good because that's one for every day of the year. He tells us He will be with us through whatever it is we go through, and that He will not fail us. He will not ever forsake us. Why does He tell us so much not to fear? I always wondered that. Why does He say, "Don't fear, don't fear, don't fear"? Well, why does He encourage us to continually have courage and to remember that He will always be with us? Well, it's quite simple. It's because, fear is going to come at us. I know a lot of people will say, a lot of religious people will say, "Oh my God, no, Christians don't get afraid. Christians don't get scared." Well, that's just a lot of hooey, period. Anyone gets scared. Whether you're Christian or not, you get scared. You talk to anybody who's been in combat situations, who's a war hero, who's been in any kind of special forces and everything. Ask them if they get scared. They'll tell you, yeah, they get scared. See, the thing is, you can't have courage without fear. We are told to fear not, because fear is always going to come for us. We will be scared. If fear is not present, there is no need for courage. Courage is defined as the quality of mind or spirit that enables a person to face difficult danger and pain without fear or bravery. In essence, facing down the fear grows courage. The fear has to be there to be able to face something with courage. If there was never any fear, there would never be any need for courage. Don't fall into the lies that tell you that if you are in Christ and walking in obedience, you won't be scared. It's foolishness. It's a lie straight from the pit of hell. Fear is always present. Why else would God warn us about it so much? Why else would, everywhere you look in the Bible, I think just about every single book, don't fear. Fear not. Be courageous. It's always there. It's always present with us. It's always part of us. I believe it's one of the greatest weapons, if not the greatest, that the enemy has to use against us. And it's one of the greatest tools God has to grow us up. Yes, I know, some people will say that's blasphemy. God doesn't give us a spirit of fear. Well, I didn't say that. 2 Timothy 1:7, right, that says, God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of love and a power and a sound mind. And that's true. God does not give you a spirit of fear. I simply said it's a weapon of Satan. Satan uses it. He sends it against us to get us to run from our destiny. I simply said God uses it. Without fear, there is no courage. What better way to grow up a warrior that can face down anything full of courage and the knowledge of God than to allow the enemy to send him or her into fearful situations where their courage can be nurtured and strengthened. Again, here we go again about resistance. For a muscle to go strong, it has to be put up against something or some kind of resistance. Now, if you walk into a situation and you're full of fear and everything, to be courageous means you have to face it down. You still feel the fear, but you face it down. Don't let the false belief that being afraid or fearful of something means that you're out of God's will or on the wrong path. It's another training exercise to grow courage in you and showing you that through God, you can face down any and all situations, no matter the fear factor. Let's take a look at David. David understood this totally because he went through it throughout his entire life. Long before he ever faced down and killed Goliath, David was tested by fear many times. The fear testing started out probably small and grew scale in intensity. First, David was alone with the sheep. Imagine a young boy of like 12, probably about 10 years old. Anyway, he probably started a lot earlier than that. Out in the middle of the wilderness, all alone at night. I mean, I know I'd be terrified. So here is this little boy out there tending the sheep, all by himself. David overcame that fear. Matter of fact, David wrote many of the Psalms which speak of not fearing and being of good courage. Next, David faced down a bear and a lion that were attacking the sheep. Pretty scary, I'd say, yet David conquered the fear and courage went out. He slew them both and protected the flock. Now finally, David comes and faces down, David faced his courage and fear final exam, Goliath. The man was a giant, literally. He stood twice the height of most men and was more than likely twice as strong. Here's David, a teenager, facing down a seasoned warrior who was probably 3 times his size, and he showed no fear. He had already conquered it, and known all that was left was courage. He picked a fight with the giant and won. Fear is the breeding ground of courage. Without it, we will never become courageous. I just want to thank you for this time spent with you. I do want to let you know one thing. Don't let that false belief that being afraid or fearful means you're out of God's will or walking on the wrong path. I mean, I need to reiterate that. It really is just another training exercise to grow you up in courage and everything. So eventually you'll see that with God on your side, you'll be able to face down any and all situations no matter what fear comes at you. Please just remember that. So I just want to thank you for this time. This was a devotional, Courage and Fear, from my new book, Made for War, 52 Weeks of Wisdom and Revelation. Available now at Amazon.com and at my website, www.brianmack.com. Thank you so much, and God bless.